Family, life is good. Thank you, God. I know that was you. Nothing but blessings right now. Love you all so much from the bottom of my heart. Marcy, I see you. That was too much fun. Our dynamic is second to none. We're just getting started.
Yeah. I see it. Oh, I love you so much. Seeing your face makes me so happy.
What's going on?
All is well. We just had our debut on television on Wake Up with Marcy, who I see in the chat right now. Marcy, you should meet Dave. You guys would definitely hit it off. Now they got the iconic big bad David Meltzer, the articulate alligator, the ferocious Buddha, the spiritual starfish, the paradigm shift, episode 7 on our way to 7,000.
Consistent and persistent. That's the name of the game. We're going to have a friend of mine join us today, hopefully, too. The incredible Blue Angel, the Gooch, John Foley.
Gooch, John Gucci Foley. How you doing, Big Bad Dave?
I'm amazing, man. I got a big weekend planned for Mother's Day. We rented out the beach house, so we're going to the montage, hang out with little biebs, and we're going to have a great weekend there at the montage here in Laguna for my wife, to honor her for being such an extraordinary mom, and spend a little time this week with my mom as well, down in San Diego. So it's all good, and Craig is on fire. Jakey Bakey is up. Look, he said FG. Colleen's here too, of course.
Colleen, how you doing, girl? Dave, happy Mother's Day to your beautiful and amazing wife, and also your beautiful and amazing mother, and also to my mother, Helene Siegel, who might be on here right now.
Mother's Day to Mrs. Siegel, and I have a special Mother's Day video going out tomorrow that I had produced. It may be one of the most tear-invoking, emotional videos I've ever done. It's amazing.
Good. And we're going to dive in right now, but I just want to say something, and this is a little weird. I'm having separation anxiety from seeing you in person, my friend.
I'm surprised we weren't arguing when you left, you know. Like my girls pick fights with me before they go to college because they're going to miss me so much. So I'm just glad we didn't have to go through that separation anxiety.
I love it. And I see Big Bad Gucci John Foley on here. We're going to get you on in 3 minutes. Dave, let's start it up real quick. One thing that I heard you say recently is, if you're not failing, you're not trying. I couldn't agree more. Tell the audience what you mean.
Well, you know what? People see failure, mistakes, setbacks as stop signs, right? And they're not. They're turn signals, and they're indicators that you have something better to do, some better place to be, a better situation, or to make your situation better. So for me, any type of setback is a setup. Any type of failure is a lesson. Any type of mistake itself is a lesson as well. So in order to experience those setbacks, failures, mistakes, etc., you got to be moving, you got to be trying, and you are not doing anything. You can't sit in your comfort zone and expect to learn something. You got to go out there, try things, and improve. The only way we improve is by the indicator of pain, mistakes, failures, and setbacks.
Ooh, gems and nuggets. The articulate alligator, episode 7, Jakey Bakey. I love it. Real quickly, a couple of weeks ago, you mentioned what I stuck with me and I love. Let faith be your GPS. I ask you, Dave, can someone, and if so, how can someone cultivate faith?
Yeah, well, faith is a muscle, and it needs to be cultivated like those big pecs of yours. You need to work it out. You need to keep inch by inch trusting the fact that the faith itself is this ultimate GPS, because not only will it reroute you when you have a flat tire, when you miss an exit, when you accidentally go off and go to the donut shop when you're supposed to be working out, it'll reroute you. Faith will reroute you, but it's a super GPS, because what it also will do is it will learn from the flat tires, the missing of the exits, the going to the donut shops, and it will change your destination to the better. So not only will it reroute you, but it will actually take you to a better place than you can even imagine. But you got to drive. You got to drive and trust. You got to vet and trust. You got to drive and trust. You got to trust the fact that the GPS is indicating that you got to reroute to a better place.
Ooh, love that. Should we get Gucci on?
Let's get the gooch.
Where is he?
You got him. I'm not driving. You're driving. You're making all the mistakes, not me.
I got this.
I'll post. I meant to post that earlier.
I got it.
I know you do. Hey, Gooch, just give us a second. You know, this is, thank you for moving this up. I got a baseball game this morning too for my 11-year-old son, and just enjoying that as well. Here he is. Oh,
Yeah.
right there, Gooch.
Hey, man.
Glad
Glad
to be
here, guys. You two are on fire.
Fire.
I'm grateful to be here, man. Grateful.
This is the Breakfast Club right here, the CLS experience with the young buck, the super future of mine, Craig Siegel. He's killing it. He has energy like nobody else.
John, it's so awesome to meet you. I'm a big fan. I was checking out your content. A friend of Dave, obviously, he's family of mine. We're going to manufacture some magic here tonight. Unbelievable to meet you.
Hey, it's a blessing, brother. And look at your guns, man. You've been working out. I like it.
Yeah. I got to keep on. Oh, look at you guys.
Hey, but look at Dave, man.
There we go. All right, give the Gooch a question, and I'll comment.
Let's do this right now. Johnny, I was checking out some of your content. One thing that I saw that really stuck out with me that I think is huge for the audience is you talk about perception and how different people perceive the world in different ways. And then as a result, they have a different reality. What do you mean by that exactly?
Yeah, it goes down to the science of, how the brain works. I live on this mantra called glad to be here. I woke up this morning and the very first thing I did is a gratitude meditation. And the first thing came to mind is you and Dave. And I said, all the people here, I said, I get this rare privilege to share some information, but here's what it does. It actually changes the way your brain thinks, right? So whether you see a glass as half full or half empty depends on your gratitude state. So when you're in a state of gratitude, you'll see opportunities that you wouldn't see. Now, here's what's really cool, Craig. When you're in a state of generosity, you add generosity to gratitude. Now you actually get self-confidence because you see yourself being generous. And you combine those two, now you have breakthrough performance because you see things others don't, and you have the confidence to take the action. So that's what glad to be here means.
Yeah. Ooh, love
John's
that.
John's a Blue Angel. So one of the most remarkable things is this idea of perception goes beyond the conscious. That there actually is inherent in some higher level of thinking, our higher selves that enable us to do what John was able to do in an airplane. And he'll explain how close he flies, at what speed he flies. And it would be physically and consciously impossible. I study physics, metaphysics, and quantum physics. Without some sort of higher level of awareness, it'd be physically impossible to do what he describes that his crew can do. And I think we can bring that to our normal lives as well. We don't have to do it, 10,000 feet in the air, risking our lives to prove that this higher level of thinking works to achieve remarkable, extraordinary things, because we don't even know our potential. That's why I tell people to enjoy that. So, John, if you could describe, what you do as a Blue Angel, how close you fly, at what speeds, and what that feels like, not necessarily conscious, but the feeling of being one with all of that mess.
Yeah, so let me give you two quick stories. So those of you who've seen the Blue Angels, we fly 36 inches wingtip to wingtip, but we're actually tucked in underneath each other. We get down to 18 inches. Now, Craig, can you imagine this crap? 500 miles per hour, 18 inches. Those of you who are, got your phones out, reach out, and try to reach your phone. It's about that close, and you got this 22-ton jet. Okay, and you're in this zone, you're in this space of you're flying within a 3-inch circle upside down. Now, as Dave said, there's no way you can be in that zone without having the preparation and the mental focus. But when you're in that state, let me tell you guys, it is so cool because time goes away. You feel in one with not just the airplane, you feel one with your teammates. And that's a really cool feeling because when you first jump in this jet, it's big, it's powerful, it scares the shit out of you, to be honest with you, right? All right, and now all of a sudden, you not only got to master yourself, you got to master this machine, and then you master it with teammates. And man, that state is something that I'll never forget.
Love this guy, Dave. Woo! I thought I was intense and passionate. John Gucci's on a whole nother level right now. This is phenomenal.
I told you, Craig. Go ahead.
This is unbelievable.
Your turn, Craig.
Yeah, and I love the visual that you just portrayed, and also obviously the intensity. And another thing that you talked about recently, Johnny, is pivoting to opportunity. And a lot of people, pivoting is a trendy word these days, but then there's a lot of people who just stay in their lane and kind of wait for things to happen. You're the type of cat that makes things happen. Tell us what you mean by pivoting to the opportunity.
Well, we're all doing it now with digital here, right? I mean, just look at what we've decided. I speak 100 times a year around the world, used to, right? And then that went away in 1 second. And now we're actually able to make more impact by pivoting to the digital, the workshops, this right here, making a big difference. Now, let me put it in perspective with the Blue Angels, though. The way we did that was after every flight, we would have a debrief. So you can't pivot if you don't know what the hell you just did, right? So we go back and we look at, okay, what was our plan? How did we execute on that plan? And then we constantly say, okay, how can we get better? What do we need to change? What do I need to do to get even 1 inch better? And I think that's part of what Dave's saying, is that consistent, persistent pursuit of continuous improvement.
That's it.
Craig, also, one of the things that's remarkable, especially in the military and in the airspace, the Air Force itself, the Blue Angels, is simulation.
And Dave, Blue Angels are Navy, brother.
Navy.
But that's okay. The Air Force is the Thunderbirds, and we love them too.
Oh my God! Well, my Navy experience was taking a helicopter out to a carrier, and 10-foot waves, and my boy Justin Pugh was puking all over the place, looking through a camera. So I never have, put it this way, when I was with the Navy in their leadership program, I've never felt more proud to pay taxes. I got off the ship. We flew the helicopter back to San Diego. I told my wife, I said, if you ever hear me complain about paying my taxes, kick me right in the crotch, because honestly, because what our military does for us, and the Navy especially, from the air and sea, oh my God. To understand it's remarkable how that works. But I had also, through all the branches of the military, simulation, John, is so important. And I talk about simulating focus and refocus. I talk about simulating positivity, gratitude, simulating forgiveness and accountability. All of these things, I think that you are an expert with your Glad to Be Here program of teaching people how the conscious cellular memory, how we simulate things in order to get it as a higher power of our subconscious and even into our personality traits, our characteristics, our obsessions and addiction. Our unconscious can actually start harnessing is our extraordinary light, our extraordinary power. Have you ever, through all that incredible stuff, experienced like, holy crap, I have so much power, it can actually work as a detriment or scare you?
Oh, I'm scared all the time. All right. And I think that's okay. It's kind of like, we talked about failure earlier too. I'm scared, but I'm never afraid. And let me give you the difference, right? To me, fear causes stuckness. You can see it in yourself. You can see it in the world right now, right? But scared's different, man. Scared's the little hairs that stand up on the back of your neck. When I had hair on my head, you could feel it, right? And I like that feeling, because that tells me I'm in a new zone. I'm in a place I have to be aware. And what you're talking about, Dave, is key, is you got to be aware there, because it's easy to kill yourself, especially when you're flying a jet at 1,000 miles per hour, okay, 100 feet off the ground. So that's not hard. What's hard is to be on that edge. And what you're talking about is this ability to train. And we use simulation, then we use practice, and then we constantly briefed and debriefed, and you get to a point where you start to overcome these feelings of being scared and or being afraid, and then you're constantly pushing the envelope. So it becomes one within your own soul first, and then when you can extrapolate that to others is when it gets really powerful. And that's what this Glad to Be Here experience does, right? We get people to actually go into it and then be able to expand out.
This is pure magic. Both of you just spin absolute fire. And it's funny, Johnny, because I was about to ask you one of the last questions was, how come some people see threat and some people see opportunity? But you kind of just touched on that, right?
That's it. It's the glass half full or half empty. And here's the cool. When you see the opportunity, do you have the confidence to take the action? Because a lot of people see it, but they don't take the action, and that's
too many
to me
people
too. Exactly. So you need both.
And I want to add one thing, Craig. I love the idea of seeing that glass half full, but I believe my glass is overflowing. It may
Nice.
look or appear to be half full, but in an abundant world of more than enough, like I look at, I am health, I am wealth, I am happiness, I am worthy. What am I doing to interfere with that? And looking at that glass in the wrong way is going to interfere with it, to allow all the insecurities of fear, the ego-based emotion that drains our brain of blood and puts it all into our body so we can fight, flee, feed, or the other F word that Gary Vee likes to say. Instead, you know, those triggers are what I identify, and I get it when the hairs do arise on mine, but instead of fighting it, I go ahead and get to center, to find my focus, to my higher self, to remind myself the glass is half full, and I believe it's overflowing. I got to figure out what's interfering with my glass overflowing. That's all I got to do. Hey, we got time for one more, and just one more roundabout. What do you say, Craig?
Yeah, Johnny, leave the audience with one unbelievable last nugget and gem. Do that thing you do.
Yeah, so I think about one of my last flights. We're talking about this, you know, how do you push the limits? I decided one day, I go, you know, I'm out, I'm in the Blue Angels. It's one of my last flights. I got a test hop. How high can this jet really go? I never knew, right? Because in the test pilot school, it says 50,000 plus. So I said, what the hell, guys? Let's find out today. So get supersonic, right? You go over the water. You do a Rotowski climb. That's where you pull the nose up. You do a parabola. I go up to about 50, 55, 56, 57,000 feet. I start to see the curvature of the earth. And I go, oh my God, Columbus was right. You know, I mean, we take it for granted, brother. We take it for granted that the Earth's round. It blows your mind, though. And the reason I leave you with that is what Dave's talking about, the potential that we all have. This world is magical, okay? We all have so much potential in our lives. And I'm just feel blessed to be with you, Craig, be with you, Dave. Let's go out there and keep making a difference in the world. Glad to be here. Gucci out.
Absolutely love that. Johnny, thank
I
you for
love
stopping
that.
by.
Those flat earthers out now have a witness that someone who's seen the world is round. Firsthand, he's seen it. So that's amazing. If you are a flat earther, I apologize. I've been looking for a witness, and I got one. So here we go. What do you got for me, Craig, before I go to an important baseball game for my 11-year-old?
Yeah, so Big Bad Dave, I want to leave the audience with this. And by the way, your 11-year-old is going to absolutely crush it because he's a chip off the old block. And I love both of you, Johnny, especially. I'm so glad we met. This is just the beginning of our relationship. I want to leave the audience with this, Dave, and I know you can attest to this yourself. I want everyone to look themselves in the mirror at some point today and just say to yourself, why not you? Why not me? Why not you? Why can't you start that passion project? Run a marathon, start a new business, open yourself up for a relationship, whatever the case may be. And like Johnny was just tapping into it, all of us have the ability to tap into that